Okay, I realize there's an awful lot going on in the Texas political landscape, but I want to draw your attention to one really important race in particular. Now we know that the Texas Republicans have gerrymandered the shit out of the congressional map in a desperate ploy from Daddy Donald and Greg Abbott and the rest of the Republicans to fucking fix the midterms, right? Because if there are free and fair elections, if the people are allowed to express their right to vote and to get representation in government, the Republicans are absolutely fucked. Republicans were like, let's disenfranchise millions of Black and Latino Texans, and that way we can continue to assist Donald Trump in the destruction of democracy. Right? They thought that they were going to carve out 5 Republican seats for themselves, but they based their ridiculously gerrymandered map on 2024 election data. And unfortunately, or fortunately for democracy, they didn't think about the fact that all of the people who supported Trump before the election are no longer super down with what he's doing, especially when it comes to Latino voters. So a lot of these districts that they had to weaken from solidly red districts to like light pink or maybe even purple districts in order to turn another blue district over here red. Yeah, suddenly there's a lot more vulnerable. We'll see what happens in Texas. Really, really important that we have a huge get out the vote movement. And we just had the primaries, and I know that there's a lot of feelings because James Tallarico won over Jasmine Crockett. And I don't want to touch too much on the fact that I'm seeing other creators online saying, well, fine, then I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote for anybody in the midterms because Jasmine Crockett didn't get the nomination. Hey, so it's likely to be Ken Paxton, a rabid, unhinged, racist, hard MAGA, versus James Tallarico. Not voting. Yeah, check in with yourself, folks, about what your strategy is there. And it's not the midterms yet, and hopefully Texans are having that conversation amongst themselves about what they should be doing. It's their Senate race after all. And likewise, again, I'm just going to put forward my favorite question right now. Who benefits? Who benefits by Democrats not showing up at the polls in the midterms? So if you hear that kind of rhetoric, like don't vote, voting doesn't matter, my candidate didn't win in the primaries, therefore, I think we should stay home. I just want to ask you who benefits from that. Be thinking about that because we know that mis and disinformation propaganda is coming from all over the place. I'm not saying that these are like psyops, but we do know that the far right, MAGA, Russia, Elon Musk, we know, AIPAC, we know that they put out all kinds of narratives, and the goal of those is to undermine democracy and to help MAGAs get elected. So, Yeah, so lots and lots going on in the Texas political landscape, but I think one of the most shocking is what's happening in a congressional district. I want to say it's District 23. Yes, Texas's 23rd congressional district. A Democrat named Pete Gallego held this seat through 2014, and then it's been held by a Republican. So we're hearing now that the current rep, Tony Gonzalez, has decided to drop out of the race. He's no longer going to run for re-election. Why would a Republican drop out? Why would he not want to run? Oh, because he's been involved in a sex scandal. What? The party of family values? What? What, the folks who are morally righteous? What? Oh, gosh. Never could have seen that coming. So he dropped out. And that in and of itself is a story that's, first of all, right, the hypocrisy of MAGA. But second of all, it's a little bit of hope core for Democrats because the incumbent has the advantage. So if the incumbent has to step back and not run for re-election because of a sex scandal, Democrats might perk their ears up a little bit and be like, maybe we can make some inroads here. But there's so much more to it than that because the guy that Gonzalez elevated to take his place in the race is Brandon Herrera. Don't know if you're familiar with him. He's a far right doesn't even begin to describe it, dude. His social media handle is the AKGuy. Gosh, what could he be obsessed with? I don't know. I mean, if you think it's just this, there's, again, way more. We're getting there. Now, the Politico describes Herrera as a lightning rod GOP candidate, and it's not because of his fixation with firearms. Well, maybe that's a tiny bit of it, but it's mostly, okay, you judge for yourself. Just be forewarned, the clips are going to be offensive, despicable.
Some great points.
That's my copy at my house next to a bunch of the German stick grenades. I got the 1939 edition printed in English just because I thought it was wild. You couldn't buy it on Amazon, but you could buy the Communist Manifesto in Das Kapital.
Well, this was more expensive than the...
That's him bragging about his copy of Mein Kampf on prominent display in his home alongside Yahtzee memorabilia. So he's just an out and proud adorer of the Third Reich. And if you think like, well, maybe this is a one-off, maybe we misunderstood, maybe he just loves to collect old books, maybe he's just interested in German history. I mean, I'm interested in German history as a German American. I don't have copies of Mein Kampf around. I have copies of Der Doppelstadt and the authoritarian personality. Like, I could understand having copies of Germany and Memoir of a Nation or like Ghosts of Berlin, but Mein Kampf and then bragging about how much you paid for it and how you're so proud to have a copy, and then bitching about how like, well, you can buy the Communist Manifesto online, but you can't get this from Amazon. This guy's running for Congress. He's running to be a duly elected member of the House of Representatives in the United States of America. And that was not a one-off. That was not a one-off. Let's put it in a little more context.
See, that just looks correct. So anyway, my buddy Admin Results is going to be out here on the range with us to help us with the forbidden LARP.
Don't try this at home.
How do you say montage in German?
I'm sorry, the salute was a bridge too far for you after you said you were going to do the forbidden LARP, and then you were singing along. Okay. You did a whole montage where you were cosplaying as Yahtzee soldiers, killing who? Americans? Allied soldiers? Or maybe in your head you were just thinking Jewish folks? Well, Auf der Heide played in the background. I'm just like, yeah, Okay, this man is running to be a member of Congress in the United States. An out and proud Nazi flarper. These guys think everything is a video game. Look at him delighting in role-playing, shooting Americans in World War II. Like, we could have a whole other conversation about what the fuck is wrong with men in this country. Why are so many men into this shit? So deeply insecure that their whole personality becomes guns and hate, and they think that that's a demonstration of manliness. By the way, you should go watch my video from a couple of days ago about how during World War II, the Third Reich was also obsessed with this whole concept of being really manly, and then they prosecuted anybody who they felt was a threat to manliness. Hyper-masculinity was all the rage. It looks different than what we think of as hypermasculinity today, but it was all about demonstrating that you have the good kind of Aryan genes that can get passed down to create the master race or whatever, right? So Brandon Herrera, who somehow thinks that the Fuhrer would be buddy-buddy with him and not chuck him into a concentration camp ASAP, is a 20-something, late 20-something social media influencer who is also active in the Sons of Confederate Veterans. His whole personality is just all of this. Hate, racism, guns, fragility, whatever. Now he thinks he's going to go to Congress. Okay, but Democrats here, they really see an opening because they're like, okay, the incumbent has stepped back. The guy that he's endorsed, the guy that Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, by the way, has endorsed an out and proud Nazi. In case you were wondering, in case there was any kind of like confusion about who Mike Johnson, Christo-fascist, Speaker of the House actually is and what he actually believes, he has endorsed this guy already 2 days ago, I believe. So Democrats are like, wait a minute, maybe we could pick up this seat, because I can't believe all Republicans in District 23 want to vote for an out and proud Nazi. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I lived in Texas. I was a kid there. We had a Democratic governor when I lived in Texas. So I don't really know what the composite of that district is. I do know that in the past they have elected a Democrat because the guy on the Republican ticket is an edgelord who did not serve but makes jokes about veteran suicide rate and flarps as a Nazi soldier. So I don't know. What do you think? Could Democrats pick up this seat?